All right, Coach, thank you for your time. So, over the course of the last 3 days, I've noticed a lot of work in terms of hip movement, hip drive, a lot of foot placement. How is that kind of your emphasis, and what does that play into moving down the line?
Well, it's the fundamentals, like we emphasize, the fundamentals and techniques of football. It's, everybody says low man wins and low man wins, but how you got to teach the kids how to get low, and it's your hip flexibility, your hip movement, and that's your hips. You got to get underneath the defender's hips, and then in order to do that, you got to get your feet in the right place. So, football, as much as people think it's an upper body game, most of it is done in the lower half of your body. So that's been, our emphasis, not just in the camp, this whole year, this whole off season. So getting our guys to understand the importance of our foot speed, our foot placement, our hip ability and mobility, and our hip speed and violence. So that's one of the big parts. That's one of the main parts of playing offensive line.
Yeah, there's been a bit of pressure, over the couple of days. But what can you speak on the trust that each kind of group has with each other, and the trust that you're starting to find in them?
Well, you got to build it. You got to build it, and you build their bond and their love for each other in the off season. And then you build the field of the game once you get pads on, and that's where trusting the guy next to you and putting guys in a position where they're playing with each other and they're feeling each other's grunts, each other's words, each other's hand movements or hand passing. That's where the game evolves when you're in pads, and you can only get that in pads, and you can't mimic a period where it's the offense has to pick up the blitzes, or it's an inside run period. So you can't mimic that in the off season. What you can do is prepare for them and prepare for when stuff doesn't go right and how they respond to that. But the actual physicality of that thing, that's what practice is. And being our first day in pads, and there's some good things, there's some bad things, and we just gotta clean it up.
Right. During the one-on-one period over there on the opposite field,
Yep.
I saw you really pull each lineman aside after every rep and kind of give them pointers. What was kind of some pointers that went along the line in terms of if that was striking, if that was, again, foot placement, or if that was kind of keeping your head up?
You just want to get, kids want to be coached. And I always give them reinforcement. Sometimes you get in camp mode and you just want to get as many reps as you can. So each individual's, each rep is different. So I give them 1 or 2 pointers of that quick rep. And to emphasize the positive, not, what they didn't do. You got to emphasize what they did do correct, and what they could do better in the next play, and you just got to do it in 2 or 3 words, and so they understand. So being concise and keeping them on the same page as us is huge.
And then lastly, just with a lot of the tight ends rotating in a lot, what is the relationship been between you, the tight ends, the linemen, and the tight ends? What is that relationship kind of built into?
It's huge. I mean, the tight ends have a tough job. They're the receivers, the running backs, and then the offensive line. They got to know everything as much as the quarterback does. So they have to be the jack of all trades. So we understand it's our job to make their lives easier when they're attached in the blocking part of it. And then we also understand that they got a whole mess of other things that they got to worry about. So I think the relationship's good. We got a great group of tight ends, not just players, just individuals. I mean, they're great guys, easy to work with, no egos, and it makes it easier for us to work within each other.
Gotcha.